I have to say, I genuinely do not remember the last time I ever had this weapon equipped, so I'm excited to try and use it. I'm not sure if I jinxed myself with that sentence, because I wrote it before I started trying to use this weapon, so we'll just see how that goes. I think this one has the potential to be a fairly interesting episode. Like, I always seem to prefer covering weapons that I don't really use, more the weapons I do actually use, because I'm learning about the weapon as I'm using it, and I can share what I've found with you guys, rather than sharing stuff with you guys that I've known from years ago, so that information might be outdated. Like, this is all new stuff that I've learned, so hopefully it's not out of date stuff and information you could actually use. And I'm actually learning a lot about a load of the different weapons that I don't normally use in this game, and I'm actually learning a lot about TF2 as a whole, so that's actually really cool. And honestly, I feel like this series is making me a much better TF2 player, which is quite cool. I know these intros are quite long, but that's because I've got a fair bit to say about this weapon. But I just want to thank you guys for all of the support on the recent videos. You're honestly blowing me away with the amount of love you guys are showing me on this whole like road to 100k thing. I love the fact that some of you guys are actually putting that in the comments of my videos now, which is sick. So let's see if we can get a bunch of replies on my tweets with it in as well. I think that'd be quite cool, having that all over my Twitter too. Like, the fact that you guys are rooting for me is like more motivation to actually keep pushing. So yeah, I can't thank you guys enough for all of the love you're showing me recently. It's been amazing. So keep on subbing, and we should be there even sooner than we thought. So let's talk about the Liberty Launcher. It is a primary weapon for the soldier, and on the wiki it is described as an olive shaded rocket launcher with tan wooden handles, a leaf sight adorned with a white US Army insignia, and it also has a cracked wooden shoulder rest with a wireframe exhaust port. Now, no matter how many rocket launcher videos I make, I will never understand what most of the words I've just said meant. I wonder how many of those words I also said wrong. I don't know though. So the Liberty Launcher comes in unique quality, strange quality, and collector's quality, which is quite nice. Unfortunately, there's no decorated Liberty Launchers, in case you wanted to use all of your war paints on that. Unfortunately not. But for me, at least, strange is the most important one. I like being able to track my kills on pretty much every single weapon I use. So that, to me, is way more important than, you know, being able to use some skins on it. This rocket launcher is also part of the Airborne Armaments set, which is a set of the soldier weapons that are focused on the aerial combat with that class, which I'll get into in a little bit. So the Liberty Launcher rockets actually travel quicker than the regular rocket launcher by around 40%, but on the wiki it says 1,540 hammer units, or like 66 miles per hour or something like that, which is interesting. And the Liberty Launcher has also an increased clip size, so instead of 4 rockets, you can have up to 5 loaded into the rocket launcher at any point, which can be quite helpful. On top of having the extra rocket, you actually take 25% less self-damage from this rocket launcher. This basically means that you can rocket jump around like quite a bit more than you would be able to with a regular rocket launcher, because you've got more rockets and you take less damage from it, so you don't have to worry as much about losing all your health straight away and run into a health pack as soon as you chain 2 jumps together. And then also the potential for the kind of jumps you can make with that extra rocket actually goes up quite a bit. So if you're good at the upward jump, you might be able to go just a little bit further with it if for some reason you're doing that in an actual game. I don't know. The downside of this weapon, however, is the fact that the Liberty Launcher does have 25% less damage than the regular rocket launcher, which means that you might end up using that extra rocket you have to try and finish off enemies, which would normally be killed in 3 or 4. So due to the fact that you're dealing 25% less damage to enemies, the base damage of this rocket launcher is 68. From point blank, you should be dealing 79 to 84. Medium range is 38 to 68 damage, and long range is 18 to 36 damage, which doesn't sound too incredible, but I'm not 100% sure. I personally found that when I was using this rocket launcher, I liked having the reserve shooter and the market gardener with it. Because the rocket launcher isn't the most powerful individual weapon, I liked having a shotgun equipped with it to make sure that I could finish enemies off if the rockets weren't quite enough. And the actual combo play of the reserve shooter and the Liberty launcher was actually something I really miss in TF2. It felt really good to like pop somebody up into the air, either get an air shot with another rocket or just swap to the shotgun and kill them with that. It was satisfying, and even if it wasn't getting a high amount of kills with the rocket launcher, I still found myself enjoying using that specific rocket launcher. And this whole combo play thing has felt like something that Valve has been trying to remove from the game for a very long time, like removing the Sandman Guillotine combo, removing a load of the pyro combinations that he had. Like, it feels like there's not a whole lot of really fun combos to use in this game anymore that are actually useful and help quite a bit, whereas this one I really enjoyed using because it felt like the old times using Sandman Guillotine, even though it does completely different things. You could also use the gunboats with this weapon if you wanted to take even less damage from your jumps, but I found using a shotgun made me feel much more confident with the weapon, and that I personally had more fun using it without gunboats, which is something I never normally do. I always have gunboats equipped on my soldier, even if I don't rocket jump a whole lot, but I found it way more fun to have a reserve shooter equipped, but it is up to you though. The mobility of the extra rocket and less explosive damage to yourself makes it so you can be very, very dangerous in the air. If you want to take even less damage, use the gunboats. If you think the damage from the jumps isn't too bad, use a shotgun and deal even more damage to make up for the less damage on the rocket launcher. I liked jumping at people, landing right in front of them, and then not being able to really do anything about it. That was quite fun. I also used the market gardener because honestly, if you're jumping around, like what other melee weapon are you going to use? Like, you're going to use the market gardener, let's be honest. I was basically using the airborne armament set the whole time that I was playing with this weapon, except for wearing the Jeep cap because there was no point to do that. But the weapons were put together in that set for a reason because they all work really well together and they are really fun to use. So I would definitely recommend trying all of that out. But also, you know, other melee weapons will work, other secondary weapons will work as well. I only really use the shotgun and the gunboats though. So I used the Liberty Launcher on stream for around 2 hours, and honestly the start of actually trying to use this weapon was quite rough. I don't think it was all about the weapon not doing the damage I needed it to, but more the fact that I was getting unlucky in the game. Like, you know, you have those rounds of TF2 where nothing goes your way? Yeah, I was having that for about the first half an hour I was using this weapon, which, you know, demotivated me a little bit, but I persisted and ended up really enjoying using this weapon and managing to use it how I liked it. Swapping to the shotgun helped a lot, to be fair, and having a medic helped me at the end also did quite a lot. But I genuinely found this weapon quite fun, and I really liked the combo play between the reserve shooter and this weapon. It brought me way, way back to like old TF2 where pretty much every class had combos they could use. I miss those times. It made you have to actually get good with multiple weapons. You don't really need to anymore. So anyway, that is going to do it for the video, guys. I would definitely recommend you trying out this weapon and seeing if you enjoy it. I didn't find it all too bad, to be honest. I was expecting a lot worse. Anyway, thank you all so much for all of the love on the videos recently. It's kind of insane to see how quickly this channel is growing. And if you want to help me hit 100k, then please subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to like the video and all of that stuff. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.